Well, hello everybody. Welcome to lesson 8 of the Golf Town Virtual Golf Clinics hosted by me, Lisa Blueswick, nicknamed Lisa Longball. Well, today we are going to be talking about slicing. How do we stop the slice? Slicing is one of the biggest issues for all amateur golfers. A lot of golfers complain about slicing the ball. So what is slicing? Slicing for a right-handed golfer, the ball goes to the right, and for a left-handed golfer, the ball goes to the left. Often to the edge of the fairway or even into the woods and out of bounds. So it's a big problem, and how do we fix it? Well, one absolute for slicing is, if you are a slicer of the ball, if this is a problem for you, I guarantee that your club face is open. And what do I mean by that? So we've talked about a square club face before. What is a square club face? A square club face is when the club face is pointed directly straight at your target. And what is an open club face? An open club face is when the toe is back a little bit and kind of like opening a door. That's an open club face. And a closed club face is when the toe comes inwards and that shuts the club face. And that's considered a closed club face. So if you are a slicer, when you get to impact, guaranteed your club face is open. So what causes it to be open? Well, today we'll talk about 5 things that cause a club face to be open, and so you can stop slicing right away. Today we can start working on some drills to get you to stop slicing. I'm just going to do a good morning. I see Suzanne has joined us, Sandra, Jan, thanks so much, Josephine from Ottawa, and Kathy so much from Fort Francis. Thanks so much for joining us, and Mark from New York. Woo-woo! I hope you are safe and well in New York. I know New York has just experienced so much pain in the last few weeks. So sending love and prayers from Canada. So what we're going to do today, as I said, we're going to talk about 5 ways to stop slicing. Number 1, what's the first reason that a lot of people are slicers? Number 1, grip. It could simply be your grip. So for grip, we talked about in the first lesson on March 31st. So if you haven't seen that lesson, you can go to the Golf Town Facebook page, go back and watch the grip lesson. And we talked about the importance of the grip being in the fingers and not in the palm of the hand. As a little refresher, you can do that drill with the golf club in your lead hand. So that's the hand closest to the target, the top hand, the hand at the top of the golf club. You're going to bend your knees like you're picking up a briefcase or suitcase, and how you would hold that handle is exactly where that grip should be in your hand, on your top hand. And then we put the bottom hand also in the fingers, and then we close our hands. And we can either have a baseball grip or 10-finger grip, an overlap, or an interlock grip. All of those 3 grips are fantastic. But here's the problem that causes a lot of slicing. A neutral grip is when the hands are down the center, basically in the middle. But a lot of slicers end up having what we call a weak grip. What is a weak grip? A weak grip is when you turn both your hands towards the target. So the target's the fairway. So if that's my fairway, I would be turning my top hand towards the fairway, so the hand closest to the top of the handle, and the bottom hand on the grip towards the fairway. So again, when both hands are turned towards the fairway, that's called a weak grip. What a weak grip does is a weak grip opens your club face, and that will cause a slice. So that's a huge problem. So number 1, go back to the neutral grip. So you can do that by doing the suitcase drill. So go to the March 31st lesson. And again, we place that on. We talked about the thumb coming just slightly to the side of the shaft. So check that out. But another thing you can do to battle the weak grip, you can actually even try a slightly stronger grip. So my coach, Paul Horton, he is a PGA of Canada instructor. He's won PGA of Canada Coach of the Year in 2017. He's had 45 of his students go on to full ride NCAA scholarships, and 21 of them have turned professional. So he knows what he's talking about. And as I say in every lesson, please go see your PGA of Canada, LPGA, and PGA of America instructor in the city near you. So what Paul talked to me about is, he said if those golfers are having a weak grip, he said he likes to make their grip slightly stronger. Well, how do you make a stronger grip? So neutral, as we talked, was in the middle. Weaker is if both hands are starting to turn towards the target. And a stronger grip is when your hands turn away from the target. So when your hands, the top hand would turn slightly away from the target, and that bottom hand would turn slightly away from the target. That ends up closing your club face a little bit, and that will help people who are slicing. Now, Paul also discussed not only is it grip, but it's also path. A lot of people who slice end up having an over-the-top kind of a swing, but what happens is at impact, their club face is open, and that causes that slice. So here's a drill that Paul shared with me so I could share with you. So the drill is, what you want to do is you want to set up at the driving range, And what you're going to do is you're going to set up with a neutral grip. So you're going to make sure that your grip is in the middle, not weak, which is putting those hands forward, and not strong backwards. You're going to start with a neutral grip. Then you're going to close your club face, okay? So close your club face. Then you will regrip the club with it in a neutral grip. So you're going to start with a closed club face. And you're going to address the ball with a closed club face, take your neutral grip, and make some golf swings. And what he said is going to happen when you make those golf swings, he said it's going to make you, intuitively, you are going to start to change your path. So if you're someone that's kind of going over the top there, and by automatically starting with a closed face, it's going to start to straighten you out, and it may even curve your ball the other way. You might even start experiencing a draw. When your ball starts to straighten out or maybe even slightly draw, that's when Paul said he wants you to go back to a neutral, to a straight club face, to a square club face. Go back so that club face is nice and square, and then go to a neutral grip, or if you like, you can even try a strong grip and hit some shots from there. He said those are two ways and a great drill to start working on stopping that slice. So we've talked about grip and we've talked about path. What's a third thing that causes us to slice? All right, before we get there, I just want to say a shout out. I see Neva's joined us from Phoenix, Arizona, 88 today. I'm so jealous. It snowed in Calgary today. Caroline has joined us. Good morning, good morning. And hello, bonjour, Marie-Claude from Quebec. So welcome, welcome. So the third thing we're going to talk about with slicing is many golfers who slice have the idea that when their club face comes through impact, that they need to make sure that they keep their club face square and continue as it goes through impact to keep that club face square and keep the club face square towards the target. That is a terrible swing thought, because I know you think in your head, you're thinking, well, no, I want my club face to be nice and square to the target. So as I come through the ball, I want to keep it square after impact towards the target. But what happens is, because you're swinging at a bit of at a tilt, what happens when you come through impact, if you try to keep your club face square, as you come through impact, it in fact is opening your club face. So it will actually make you slice, even though you think you have it, your club face directed right at the target. So what Paul Horton talked about, he gave a great drill. He said you need to make sure that you're releasing your hands. As you come through impact, your club face needs to be rotating as it comes through impact. It should come through impact at square, but then it needs to rotate. So come through impact nice and square, but then you need to allow the club to rotate. You don't want to force it to stay square. So he said a great drill is to do some horizontal swings. So some horizontal swings or some baseball swings, and what will happen is you will naturally feel that club releasing or winding up and releasing and coming through. So you'll feel that club head and that club face coming through and allowing it to rotate. And he said you might want to do 10, 15 of those swings before you actually hit your golf shot at the driving range, and that will really help straighten you out. So those are some great drills and great tips. You can be doing this at home. You can do those baseball swings in your basement. Just make sure you don't have any vases nearby or any lamps nearby. But you can already start doing that baseball swing and working on that grip so that we can kind of get ready to go when we get to go outside. All right, also going to do a shout out. I see Brent has joined us from Ontario. Good afternoon. Carolyn from Nova Scotia. I don't want any more snow either, Carolyn. And Shelley, I see you have joined us from Manitoba, so thanks so much. All right, the fourth thing that can stop us from slicing, and this one's one of my favorites. This can stop you from slicing immediately without making a swing change. Here's what it is. What causes a lot of slicers? Simply grip pressure. On a scale of 1 to 10, how tightly you hold your golf grip should only be about a 3 or a 4. Sam Snead, as I referred in my grip lesson March 31st, Sam Snead referred to holding the golf club like holding a small bird in your hands. That's how lightly you would like to grip it. Now, many of us haven't held a small bird, so I want you to hold the golf grip like perhaps you're holding an open can of pop, or maybe an open can of or an open tube of toothpaste, and you don't want to squish out the contents. Now, I find that we're awesome at setup. I find we have a great relaxed grip pressure at setup. We're pretty darn good through takeaway, but what happens as we transition into the downswing, that's when I start to see the death grip. That's when I start to see the and people on a scale of 1 to 10 are 2,643. Well, here's the problem. When you're gripping so tightly, what happens is, as you come through impact, if you have that tight grip, your club face is going to be wide open. It will be wide open, and you will slice it all day long. So if you're a slicer, one of the first things I want you to do is go, was my grip pressure a little tight? And here's your quick and simple and easy fix. Relax your grip pressure by taking a deep breath out. So when you set up to your golf ball and you're about to make a swing, the last thing I do, and this is when I'm competing at the World Long Drive Championships, the last thing I do, I take a deep breath out. The deep breath out relaxes my hands, relaxes my forearms, and takes the tension out of my swing. Because guess what? Not only will tight grip make you slice, but a tight grip pressure will kill your distance. Loose muscles are fast muscles. Tense, tight muscles are not fast muscles. When you're tight and tense, you can't swing that fast. Relax those muscles. And look at the club head speed you can generate. So again, if you're a slicer, first thing I want you to do, relax the grip pressure. Take that deep breath out and make sure that you relax that grip pressure. And I guarantee that will help you square it up when you get through impact. All right, what's the fifth thing? And this one is big. Today, I've talked to you about some major topics that I've wanted you to hold, that if you only take three tips of all the lessons I've been teaching you, 3 big tips away from all of it, this is number 3. Number 1 was brush the grass. Number 1, I need you to brush the grass in your golf swing. And we talked about that, so you can go back to watch that on the Golf Town Facebook page if you haven't seen that lesson. After brushing the grass, the next most important tip was my Tuesday tip, the tip I just did 2 days ago, and that is turn the shirt, turn the pants. And remember that lesson was about we need to, this is the top half of the body, this is the lower half. We wind up in our backswing and we unwind in our downswing. So start your backswing with your lead shoulder, initiate your backswing with your lead shoulder, turn your shirt, and the downswing, turn your pants, turn your guts. So that's number 2, and this is the third most important thing I want you to take out of all of these lessons, and that is finish your golf swing, finish your golf swing, finish your golf swing. Most golfers, especially amateur golfers, do not finish their golf swing. What I find with most golfers is they make their golf swing, and when they finish, a lot of golfers look like this. So the club's up here, and it looks like you've kind of finished the golf swing, when in fact, a finished golf swing looks like this. Finished golf swing, all your weight should be on the front side. All of your weight. Your belt buckle in a finished golf swing, your belt buckle should be at least to the target. I'd be even happier if it was past the target. And really important is your back foot. In a proper finished golf swing, when you make your golf swing, I should see the entire back sole of your shoe. If I can't see the entire back sole of your shoe, you haven't finished your golf swing. Now here's a great swing thought to make sure you get through to that back, so that I can see the back sole of your back shoe. That is dirty toe. At the end of your round, I want you to have the back foot should have a dirty toe on the top of your golf shoe. Then I know you have finished your golf swing. I know you've come all the way through to the front. So dirty toe is a great swing thought. And it's actually, I'm not a huge fan, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm not a huge fan of golf sandals, because I find in golf sandals, what happens is you don't want to get your toenails stuck in the grass and in the dirt and mud, and so you don't fully finish your golf swing. What happens is when you do your golf swing, you kind of do this bent foot thing, because you don't want to fully finish on that front side, because you don't want to dig those toes and nails in. So if you have an issue with this and you're wearing golf sandals, maybe go back to real golf shoes and see if that makes a difference. Here's another swing thought to help you finish your golf swing. Now I find a lot of people in their practice swing, this is what their practice swing looks like. Awesome, they come all the way through, looks fantastic. And again, if it doesn't, you need to make sure you practice like you play. Your practice swing should be a full finish. Never do a practice swing that just looks like this. Because if that's not how you're intending to swing, that's not going to help you at all. Remember, the whole purpose of a practice swing is to brush the grass, but it's also to train your body to come all the way through to finish. Now, I see people make that practice swing and they're going, oh yeah, they're all excited that they're going to hit this great golf shot. And then we put a golf ball in front of them. They go to hit their golf shot and they look like this. And what happens is many people think the second they've hit their golf ball, their job is done. So what happens? They hit the golf ball, they start to decelerate, and they stop here. How do you know if you're this person? Well, if you're someone who finishes with your hands by your face or slightly above your head, You had to stop your hands there, you had to start slowing down by the golf ball. So if you're someone who can stop your hands here, you had to slow down by the ball. That's number one. Number two, what happens is, you'll usually just get maybe a little bit of the heel off, maybe a little bit onto the toe, and I've even seen people make their swing and be flat-footed. So when they finish, their weight's on their back foot. These are people that often hit behind the golf ball. So if you find that you're hitting behind the golf ball before you hit the golf ball, so hitting the big ball first, people say, check to see where your foot is. My baseball players, I find anyone who played baseball, they've kind of been taught to squish the bug when they're batting, and so a lot of my baseball players are slicers because they don't finish their golf swing. So what happens is, I don't want you to squish the bug. I need you to finish with all that weight on the front side. I need to see that whole back sole of your golf shoe. So here's your new swing thought. Your club head shouldn't be moving fastest at the ball. Your club head should be moving fastest 3 feet past the ball. You have to swing through the ball. And that's why in our practice swings, we often come to full finish because there's no ball there. So we naturally swing all the way through. But as soon as we put a ball there, many of you stop swinging. You hit your golf ball, you think that the job is done, and look what happens. So if my target is straight here, all of a sudden what happens, I stop swinging, look where my hips are. My hips are facing the corner. I'll come face you now. Watch this. So I stop here, look where my hips are. My hips are facing the corner of the room. My heel is barely off the ground, but watch this. If I actually finish my golf swing, look where my hips are. My hips are slightly past the target, all my weight's on the front side, and it's gonna straighten me right out. So by not finishing your golf swing, your hips are already faced exactly where your ball is gonna go, which is right for my righties and left for my lefties. So huge point. Finish your golf swing, finish your golf swing, finish your golf swing. Make sure you're thinking your club head is moving fastest 3 feet past impact. If you do that, it will literally pull you. It will literally pull you to the front side if you swing through the ball. Again, this is a perfect thing to be doing while we're staying at home. Do this in your backyard once you have grass, for all our poor people that have snow out there, or at a park across the street, as long as you're safely social distancing. You don't even need a golf ball. This is a wonderful thing to practice. Brush the grass to a full finish with all the weight on your front that we can see your back foot. Have someone videotape you. Very quickly you'll see, is all your weight on the front? Can I see your whole back sole of your shoe? And do you have a dirty toe at the end of your round? So work on these things and I guarantee you will stop slicing this season. So I hope you enjoy those tips. Next class on Saturday, I'm going to have some really fun tips for you. For any of you who play corporate or charity golf tournaments, or you kind of get nervous on the golf course when you play with new people and it's important, you want to feel like you want to look like a golfer, not just someone who plays golf, then you're going to love these tips. I've got some great tips for you Saturday. You won't want to miss it. If you've missed any of our past lessons, please go to the Golf Town Facebook page. All the lessons, this is lesson number 8. You can watch all of them at any time. And if you'd like to connect with me on Instagram and Twitter, I'm at Lisa Longball. And on Facebook, I have a page, Lisa Longball, and would love to connect. Thanks very much, everyone. Hopefully we stopped your slicing today and can't wait to see you on Saturday.